can't, mate. You're the man for the job, so you should be telling me.
Joe the Juggernaut Joyce!
Oh, fantastic left hook from Joe there.
He's going to jump all over him now.
Joe Joyce, he's the biggest, toughest man I've ever sparred and ever met. Strong, tough, fit, tough lad.
Cunningham defends his European Super Bantamweight title. Oh, that's the reason why. Goodness me, first punch of the fight.
Zolani, I'm going to fill you in. I'm going for world title, and that's that.
Callum, the One Johnson.
He knows he's in the last chance saloon here, and the light heavyweight division's just waiting to explode.
Oh, goodness me. Well, there's a terrific shot in the opening round.
Welcome to Wembley. It's fight week, it's press conference day. Joe Joyce, Christian Hammer this Saturday night live on BT Sport. We're gonna bring you a big presser today. We've seen what Joe Joyce has learned from Susie Dent. All sorts of trash talk we're expecting from Joe, and we'll take you over to him in about half hour. Joining me today, I've got a very special guest. He's making his professional debut on Saturday night. His trainer says that he hits as hard as Deontay Wilder, and we know how hard Deontay Wilder hits. Have a little look at this.
He's got the power of a Deontay Wilder, but he's got the IQ that Deontay Wilder ain't got.
I was knocking grown men out at 14, 15-year-old, 25-year-old heavyweights, and back then I was like 69 kilo. Well, listen, I've had about 21 amateur fights, and I've stopped most of them. I've boxed the highest level of amateur boxing, and I'm now looking at turning professional, joining S-Jam, and I'm ready to take over.
Yes, that's right. Do not adjust your sets. This man is indeed 8 foot tall, because I'm obviously 6'4". 6'4",
yeah.
Tommy Fletcher, make your debut Saturday night, cruiserweight. Talk to me. How you feeling? Big night.
Yeah, I'm feeling ready, mate. You know, I've put the work in with Mark Tibbs and all my team and that. So the work's done now. You know, just media, and we're ready to roll to put a proper performance in Saturday night.
Mark Tibbs, and we've just seen the little promo play, Mark Tibbs says that you hit as hard as Deontay Wilder, but maybe your ring IQ is a little bit higher. This is high praise, Tommy. Come on, talk to me.
Yeah.
What are you thinking when you're hearing that?
It's a lot to live up to, you know. There's no pressure, you know what I mean? If I go in there, I'm doing a 4-rounder. If it goes 4 rounds, then it goes 4 rounds. If I put him out in the first round, then he goes. But yeah, I think I'm a southpaw, 6'7", so I've got a good boxing IQ. But I'm going to just get in there Saturday night, box, and if the shot comes, then it comes. So that's how I'm seeing it.
A 6'7" southpaw, rangy cruiserweight. I mean, you're going to be a problem, aren't you?
Definitely, yeah, I think so. I believe it, so I've got to just put it into action, you know.
I think you're also going to be a problem for our matchmakers, to be honest, mate. When they send that around, 6'7" southpaw, yeah, you'll be fine. So yeah, is there pressure to make a bit of a statement? I think you're going to be live on BT Sport. You're going to be part of the broadcast. You're represented by SJAM as well. Bit of pressure to make a statement, especially when you're hearing things like that from Mark Tibbs.
I don't feel no pressure. You know, I'm going to just take it in my stride. But I want to put a vicious performance in. You know, I want to get a devastating knockout. But like I said, if it goes 4 rounds, then it does. But I'm going to get in there Saturday ready to. I'll get in there Saturday ready to fight. You know, I'm getting there ready.
Tell us about this Tommy Fletcher story then. I keep hearing things, right? I've heard things about you as a 14-year-old knocking out grown men. Tell me more.
Well, when I started boxing, you know, like anyone does, you start sparring, and then I was getting in there with credible people as a young novice amateur, like you say, and I was hurting them, I was putting them out, and then you start having your first few fights and I thought, cool, this backhand, you know, this backhand. But then you don't want to rely on it, so I'm still learning with Mark now. He's teaching me to get behind the jab. Like I can't rely on power. Because one day I'll get in there with someone and I'll hit them clean on the chin. They might still be there for another 2 shots afterwards. So, so when I was young, you know, I was hurting people, and then all the way through my career, I've just been. I think I had 21 amateur fights, and I stopped most of them. So that speaks for itself, I think. And I've boxed at the highest amateur shows. I went to the European Championship, so I've been around and done it.
What was going through your head as a young man when you are hitting these older men, these heavyweights, I believe, as well, with your backhand, and they're reacting in a very bad way? What's going through your head? Well,
I think you love it, don't you? You rise to the occasion. It makes you want to do it again and again, but you start feeling vicious with it. You think I've sparred, I think I was 69 kilo, or I don't know what weight that is. I think it's like, is it welterweight or something like that? And then I'm in there with cruiserweights, heavyweights, and I'm hurting them, so it makes you feel vicious. And now I'm getting heavy. I'm building into the cruiserweight division. So I'm sure I'm only going to get stronger. I'm only 20 years old, so imagine when I get my man strength, 25 years old, I could possibly be a heavyweight.
Is that the plan then? Because obviously you're 6'7". Mark Tibbs has said that stuff about Deontay Wilder. Frame-wise, there's a bit of Wilder about you, and you're only 20, so you are going to fill out. Yeah. Are you seeing yourself as a future heavyweight? Yeah, I'd love to be a heavyweight, you know, but I've got to take each step. You know, I can't rush it. I'm only now building into a cruiserweight, but you see 3-4 years down the line, I don't think I'll be able to make cruiserweight forever. You know, I'm only 20 years old. I'm not going to hold this weight forever. Obviously, I'm doing strength and conditioning with Sonny Cannon. He's building me, so I'm only gonna grow and get stronger. So that's where the money's at, the heavyweight division, innit? So we'll start calling people out after 100%. When I move up. Yeah. Look, by the end of this stream, you'll be calling out Joe Joyce. I've no doubt about it. What's it like in the Tibbs gym? You've got obviously yourself. There's the Romford Bull, Johnny Fisher, John Hedges, Ebony Bridges is knocking about as well. What's the vibe like down there? Yeah, it's a proper good atmosphere down there. You know, you got Ebony Bridges. She's now a world champion. Johnny Fisher, he's a man. He sells a lot of tickets, and you got John Hedges. He's a cute boxer. So you can take bits from all of them. You know, and just I'm always learning in there. So they've all got their different attributes, and we're all in there training hard with Mark and Jimmy. So we're all with the same goals, really, aren't we? We all want to be the best. And tell us about the main event on Saturday night. Not just a Queensbury stablemate, but an SJAM stablemate. Joe Joyce is taking on Christian Hammer. What are your thoughts heading into this fight? Yeah, I think that would be a tasty fight, but I fancy Joe Joyce to stop him personally. You know, I think Joyce will do a proper number on him. I think he'll smash him. What's he been like? 'Cause I think you were around him earlier in the week as well. He's actually, I think someone said that you two are quite similar. Yeah. Tell me more. Yeah, no, I think we've got similar attributes, but Joe, he's big and he's massive, 6'6", and he's a big heavyweight. But I
Yeah, I fancy him in this fight to smash him. I think it'll be devastating for him. He'll do a proper number on him.
So we could be seeing a Tommy Fletcher and Joe Joyce knockout double on Saturday night.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. Hopefully.
Tell me about this fastest knockout. I was reading about it
in the European Championships.
In the European Championships.
Yeah, that's it. I boxed for England. I went to the European Championships in Russia, and I went to the European Championships in Russia, and I boxed Armenia. And I remember on the scales, and it's amateur boxing, so you should just weigh in, get in the ring, and that's that. And he was smiling at me, giving me stick and that. And then first round, I come out double jab backhand straight on the button. He went straight down, and that was the end of that. So I think it was 6 seconds, if that. So I proper done him good.
6 seconds.
I think so. Yeah, 5 or 6 seconds, something like that. Yeah.
Big gloves and head guards.
Yeah, I think it was 12-ounce gloves in the amateurs, head guards on. So you think Saturday night I'll be wearing 10-ounce professional gloves, no head guard, and I'm only going to be stronger, aren't I?
Unbelievable. Look, we're really looking forward to your debut, Tommy. It's Saturday night. It's on BT Sport. Do not miss it. This man, 6'7". Well, actually, no, 8 foot because I'm 6'4". And Tommy, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you very soon.
Cheers, mate. Thank you ever so much. Cheers.
Okay, well, we're just going to keep rolling here, because I've got Andy Clark. This is boxing royalty. Actually, you caused a bit of a stir with some of your comments recently. Eddie Hearn started name dropping you in his interviews. You're really in the mix at the moment, Andy. How are you feeling heading into Saturday night?
Good, yeah, very well, thanks. It's not as warm today as I thought it would be, hence the attire. That was pretty entertaining. I just got asked for a comment on the broadcast situation the other day at the earlier in the week, and I just threw out something I'd heard, and I got quoted to Eddie, who I think he described me as, that commentator. I didn't know about this until I saw Umar from IFL when I came in today, but it's all good fun and games, isn't it? It's all good fun and games, but I'm looking forward to this card. It's as good a fight as you can get for Joyce at this point, I think, because obviously we know that he was supposed to fight Parker. Getting fights for someone like him is always hard, isn't it? Because if you're taking the risk of falling out of the frame if you box someone like him and lose, and he's happy to take that risk, but not many people are. Hammer's been the distance with some good guys. Last time I saw him was against Hughie Fury. I had a few question marks about his exit that night. You should always take them at their word that it was an injury, but it seemed to me like maybe he kind of had enough. So I think it really depends how much he's got left, because we absolutely know what we'll get from Joyce. He's very, very consistent.
Well, the thing with Hammer is, you've pointed out that Hughie Fury fight. That was the last time he was on these shores. Since that fight, he's boxed Frank Sanchez and taken him the distance. He's taken many a good man the distance. Luis Ortiz. You have to really be able to whack, like Marius Whack actually knocked him out properly to get the job done in there. So you're not sure what we're going to expect from this version of Christian Hammer on Saturday night?
I think that's what it comes down to, is how much he wants it, how much he wants to be in there, and that can vary from night to night. And I'm not saying he didn't have an injury. There was obviously something there, and he thought, I want to keep doing this. I need to look after my health. I need to call this one early. And as you say, he went 10 with Frank Sanchez. Marius Wacky, he got thrown to the wolves early in his career, Christian Hammer. I don't know what happened with the matching, but whoever he was with at the time, they obviously didn't fancy him at all, because they put him in some really, really difficult fights. He's been a distance with Ortiz. I did his fight against Povetkin 5 years ago. He didn't show an enormous amount of ambition in that fight, and it was a final eliminator for the fight that Povetkin eventually got just over the road against Joshua. But as you say, if you want to put him away, Tyson's managed it, Tyson Fury, then you have to really be able to punch. But Joe Joyce most definitely can do that. And I'm really interested to see what's going to be next for him over the next year or so. People like to talk about his age, but in heavyweight terms, he's not that old.
It's the miles on the clock. There aren't many, are there?
No, and he's always lived a life, amateur and pro, and he's good to watch. I enjoyed that fight against Takam last year. People were talking about how he got hit too much, and he probably did, but he takes the Route 1 approach, A to B. And if he feels that you're not hurting him, and I don't think he's felt that anyone's hurt him yet, then he's happy to walk through it. People talk about what that might mean for longevity and things like that, but it's not doing him any harm so far.
What's your view on this Parker fight? There's been a real sort of public fallout. The promoters have sort of gone a little bit back and forth. Joseph Parker's put up a video, or Old MacDonald had a farm, and there's all sorts of stuff going on. I heard Joe Joyce, of all people, making quacking noises in interviews earlier this week. What's Andy Clark's take on it all?
I think it was a funny one at Wembley, wasn't it? Because we got Joe on TalkSport before they made the announcement on BT, and in typical kind of Joyce fashion, he just let it slip. He just let it slip that that's what he was there for. And then we spoke to Parker after they'd been on TV, and he said to us, well, I mean, I'm definitely up for it, but it's not quite there yet. And then we had the postponement due to Andy Lee's wife giving birth, and I read that and thought, well, that's a perfectly legitimate reason for postponing a fight. And then he signed with Boxer, and as we all know, when that kind of thing happens and it's different promoters and different networks, then you do potentially have a problem. I do think that at the minute, given the amount of platforms there are and the amount of fighters there are, it's probably more important than ever that promoters do try and, as Big Bob Aaron would like to say, show a bit of collegiality and work together. But it's easy for me to say that on the outside as a fan. I think Parker wants the fight. I don't think he's running from the fight. He's just complicated it. But he's complicated it presumably by doing what is best for him. And you can't really expect anyone to do anything other than that at any point during a career in this crazy business. So September the 24th, hopefully we still see it. I mean, you're more on the inside of that than me. I mean, what do you think? Do you think, can we still see it?
I feel as though that the fight was on Joe Parker's doorstep, and it was quite easy to just step through. But rather than stepping through, he kind of went over here, and he's still talking about wanting the fight that's over here. And I don't know, you kind of question the credibility of what's being said right now. I think there's a lot of face-saving stuff being said out there. But that's my thoughts. Andy, finally, before I bring in Mark Chamberlain, give us your predictions for two fights Saturday night: Cunningham Tete and Joyce Hammer.
Joyce, I think, will stop Hammer. I think he'll get it done probably after 7 or 8 maybe, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was sooner than that. I love Tete Cunningham. I absolutely love it. I think it's a brilliant fight. I've covered a few of Jason's fights. He's a very skillful fighter, an underrated fighter. Tete's been at this a long time. I'm saying Cunningham points.
Brilliant speaking to you as always, Andy, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you soon.
Okay, thanks.
We're going to bring in an unbeaten 10-0 lightweight. You probably recognise this fella. He knocks out a lot of people. His name is Mark Chamberlain. How are you, Mark?
Well, good, thanks. Yourself?
I'm good. I think you're on the top table today for the press conference. First time. Any nerves?
No, just take it as it comes. It's like an interview, I suppose, isn't it? But with other people sat next to you.
Sort of, yeah. I mean, I'm hosting the presser, and I think I'm basically going to ask you the same questions now that I'm going to ask you then. So I guess this is practice.
Yeah, at least I know the answer to them.
Yeah. Well, look, question number one. This is Mark Vidal, okay? This is your first title fight, Saturday night. What are your feelings heading into this fight, knowing that by the end of Saturday night, you could walk away with your first belt?
I will walk away with my first belt. But no, in terms of this fight, I'll just take it as a normal fight. I mean, I don't let the pressure get to me. Take each fight as it comes. Obviously, there's a nice title on the line for me for this fight, so yeah, just have to expect a great performance on Saturday night and watch me win that belt.
This fella's tough, though. I know you've got a lot of power. Kiko Martinez has got a lot of power as well, and he was unable to knock him out. Is it on your mind that maybe you might have to go the distance this time?
If I've got to go the distance, then I have. I've trained hard enough for the distance, but I believe in the later rounds I should be able to hurt him and hopefully get him out of there.
And that would be a big statement. He's never been stopped. But you made a big statement in your last fight as well. Jeff Afori, I think only Ahura Davis has been able to stop him at a weight above. Do you feel as though you're growing as a pro now and you're starting to make statements, starting to just get on the radar a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. And in terms of weight difference, I believe he fought Kiko at featherweight, super featherweight, but he's now stepping up to lightweight. So we'll see how he handles it.
And it must have been an interesting one that you got the call of. This man was supposed to be fighting Sam Noakes, and Sam Noakes had to pull out for injury, and now Mark Chamberlain's jumped in. Was it just a quick yes for you?
Yeah, definitely. I'd been ticking over in the gym anyway, waiting for a date, and I think he broke his hand, and they rung up and said, do we want the fight? But yeah, why not? I was ready to go, so I'm ready for it, and whatever he brings on Saturday night.
Good man. Well, look, we're going to continue our chat at the press conference, but I'm going to let you go for now. Well done with your answers, and I'll speak to you in a bit, Mark. Now we're going to bring on Mr. S-Jam himself, Mr. Adam Morallee. I think Danny Flexen has once referred to you as morally bankrupt.
Not very nice.
How you doing?
I'm all right, Dave. How are you?
I'm good. Press conference day, fight week for Mr. Joe Joyce. Christian Hammer wasn't the man that Joe Joyce thought he was going to be fighting when he left for Vegas. He thought he was going to fight Joe Parker.
Absolutely.
What's it been like, this whole situation?
It's been tough. I mean, it's been tough for Joe in particular. We had the Parker fight done. Then we got the phone call, which was, oh, please, can we just extend it a bit? Joe Parker's trainer's wife's pregnant. I think she's supposed to be giving birth today, actually.
Congrats.
Yeah, congrats. So then we agreed to September 24th with Parker's team. Wanted, no disrespect to Christian Hammer, but we wanted an opponent in preparation for Joe Parker. He wasn't our first choice. And then Parker unfortunately pulled out, all the stuff with Sky, which we've gone into. He signed with Sky. So Christian Hammer wasn't the opponent we wanted, but we've got to take him seriously. He's a very serious guy. He's been the distance with Vetkin, Fury, lots of top people. And the biggest mistake we can make is not to take it seriously. He's an international level opponent. So it's not what we expected, but we must take it seriously.
Joe put out a statement. He's put out a few statements recently, but there was one directly at Joseph Parker saying, I'm fighting September 24th. Let your promoter know if you want to fight me on that date. Has there been a response? If not, do you expect a response? What do you think happens next in the Joyce-Parker saga that it's turned into?
Joe Joyce is the WBO #1 and the WBC #2. Joe's, throughout his career, been incredibly difficult to match because, people in boxing know how good Joe Joyce is, what he's done to opponents. But now Joe has something. He has the #1 spot. That is a valuable prize. So people actually do want to fight him. But I think Joe Parker's got to realise that Joe's the #1. He's got the spot. And if you want to come and fight him, come to BT, fight on September 24th for the money that's agreed. It's that simple. Joe's not going to go chasing Joe Parker. People should come to Joe Joyce if they want what he's got. We could, as some boxers and managers have done, sit tight, fight no one, wait for March 25th, take our mandatory spot against Usyk or AJ. We could do that, but Joe doesn't want to do that. So good management here is about finding the right opponents for September 24th and onwards for Joe to break through. And you might say, don't take risks. But I've just been through with Frank Warren, the BoxRec top 20. Joe will fight everyone on there.
Well, we're going to bring in Frank Warren. Adam, wonderful to speak to you, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you soon. See you later.
See you later. See you later.
Let's bring in Mr. Hall of Fame boxing promoter Frank Warren.
Dave.
How are we?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
I'm good. We are press conference day for Mr. Joe Joyce. Christian Hammer Saturday night. Tee it up for us.
Well, look, it's fights. Joe's been out for quite a while now with a broken wrist, and this basically was a fight that we made based upon he was fighting Parker in September because Parker couldn't fight on the 2nd because Andy Lee's wife was having a baby. So
apparently today.
Well, good luck to them. I hope that all goes safe and well for them. So we got Christian Hammer in, who's a tough competitor. He comes to fight, and Joe's coming off, as I say, he's got that broken wrist. So I'm hoping he comes through the fight well. He'll come to fight, and he would give him a fight, Hammer. And Joe's going to have to be at his best, but he looks in tremendous condition. He's been training in LA, and I want him to make a statement on Saturday, over there, on Saturday, and hopefully he'll do so. He's #1 in the WBO. It's really exciting times for the heavyweight division. You've got on the 20th of August in Saudi the rematch between Usyk and AJ. So once that's over with, then there are going to be some interesting situations happening. And, we're in a position where, obviously, Tyson's WBC champion. He may decide he wants to fight on and a unification, who knows. And then you've got Joe #1 WBO, and you've got Daniel #1 WBA. So all roads lead to Queensbury to make these fights happen with the winner.
In terms of Joseph Parker, the man that Joyce thought he was going to fight as he got on that plane to go to Vegas, a lot's happened, a lot's been said, offers have been made, some, we said it was face-saving. What's your thoughts on that fight now? Is it possible for September 24th to Joe Joyce and Joe Parker?
So yesterday, Joe sent me a text. And I've read the previous ones out, from why he pulled out. And I got this yesterday. Frank, how are you? Hope all is well. Can we still make the fight happen? I've just sent back, not on Sky we can't. What about both networks? I don't know what planet they're on. I mean, this is ridiculous. Joe's number one. You already agreed the contracts and you decided to go elsewhere, and obviously it don't look like they've delivered for you at the moment. And he said, let's find a way to make it happen, the usual nonsense. And I just said to him, you got the contract that we sent, it's on the desk. Contract I sent you, we all agreed that, and the bottom line of it is it will be on BT, and if the contract isn't on my desk by today, then forget it. Let them go. I mean, he's the replacement for Sky for AJ. Good luck.
I mean, look, we know fighters fight, right? We know Joseph Parker has boxed some of the best in the world. He's a fighting man. Do you think this is a case of he's been badly advised?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you'll soon find out what's been delivered. He agreed the contract with us. It says in the one of the first text he sent me when I found out they pulled the stroke, he said, agreed the deal. The deal's done. So it was a done deal. Money, all terms, everything was agreed. But simultaneously, obviously, they were negotiating with Sky. And cut a long story short, we all know what happened. Now I've got to deliver for my man. I will. What they'll forget, Joe Parker's not the ranked number one. He's not the mandatory. Joe Joyce is. This is the Joe Joyce business. You want to get that spot, you've got to beat Joe Joyce. So that's it. That's where we are. Joe Parker, that ship sailed now, and we're not knocking ourselves out. And I'm hoping, if Joe does do what he does, can do what I hope he can do on Saturday, then we'll be out again in September in a big fight.
Well, look, he's clearly getting the backing. We've seen, obviously, he's in those positions. Queensbury backed, BT Sport have invested this money in the advert.
That advert they did. I mean, he had more exposure, I think, than any boxer. You could imagine. He was in Champions League, the Europa finals, the Champions League final. He was all over the place. And that's it. Everyone's got behind him, and that's what we said we would do, and that's what we've done. People keep saying, from my perspective, you wanted Dubois to win. No, I wanted the best man to win. And in the meantime, Daniel's come back and he's in the number one spot. That's what we do. We get behind our guys and work hard for them. And we've worked very hard for them. And the way forward now is for Joe to do the business on Saturday. And then then all the fun's going to begin once that fight's out around the 20th. It's going to be quite interesting because the governing bodies are going to have to call for mandatory defence of their respective titles.
Just on that one quickly, on the August 20th Saudi Arabia fight, how do you see Anthony Joshua at Usyk playing out?
I don't know, he's got this new trainer and he obviously feels confident. He's blaming his corner for the advice they give him in the last fight, which, you could hear the corner and some of them were telling him he's in front, which I don't know what fight they were watching. But the bottom line of all of it is that he's not fighting. It's not Andy Ruiz. It's not the guy who went and trained for the second fight in his fridge. He's a guy who's a consummate professional and he can box. And I thought he boxed to orders in that fight. I may be wrong, you never know, but I thought he boxed to orders. He weren't looking for a knockout. He knows he can hurt him. He had him going certainly in the last round. And I think it's going to be I think this time round it's going to be I just fancy Usyk. The more I think about it, the more I fancy him.
So those phone calls.
I hope AJ wins. I do hope he wins. I mean, this is Britain. We want the Brits to fight each other. That's what we want.
Well, even Tyson Fury put out a kind of surprising message yesterday across his social media saying, "Hey, lay off AJ. He's doing just fine. He's made it." Did that surprise you when you saw that?
Yeah, it's tight. Tyson's probably. We're all on the same page. What we like to see happen.
And how is he? How is Tyson? I mean, we did that interview a couple of weeks back now. He's done a few since. You sort of don't know what to pick up and what to take. What's the very latest from the last you spoke to him?
I spoke to him, I think yesterday morning. He's all right. He's all good. He's doing his tour. Very successful. I mean, it's a sellout. Everywhere he goes, he's packing them in.
That's what he does.
I know he does. He's an entertainer. That's what he is. He's a charismatic character. That is what he is. He's a very entertaining guy and the public love him. So he's doing his tour and he was very happy, and we discussed a couple of things which we will talk about if they all work out very soon. We've been working for a little while, chatting about a few things, and we hopefully might have some interesting news soon.
Well, I'm going to bring in the big man, Mr. Joe Joyce.
There's the big man.
If you jump in, let's keep you both in, Joe. Yeah, you get in the middle. Jesus, size of you. How you doing?
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
Christian Hammer, Saturday night. I mean, it's not the man you wanted to fight, but it's the man that you're going to have to fight. He's very durable. It might be a long night. What do you think?
Yeah, he's got a good chin, and it's a good test, and good to get me back in there. And I think it's gonna be an exciting fight. He likes swinging them over. He's tough and he's game, and he could do the rounds. So it's a perfect fight to get me back in there and practice for some of these bigger fights that's incoming.
Look, this is going to be the press conference today, right? I've seen the advert. We've all seen the advert. Frank's seen the advert. We're expecting some big things from you today, Joe. I'm expecting Dunderhead and all sorts. So what you got lined up?
Yeah, and thanks to BT for giving me that advert. That was really great. I enjoyed doing that as well. Yeah, I'll have to think of some of them dishes and bring that out.
Frank, what does Joe need to be wary of on Saturday night? Christian Hammer.
Complacency. And listen, it happens. I mean, everyone thought Tyson against Wallach was going to be a stroll in the park. He got badly cut, and there were times in the fight you was worried whether the referee may have stopped the fight because of the cut. Anything can happen with these big guys. They're big men and they're throwing bombs. And as Joe said, he's got a good chin, so Joe's got to be at his best. And you only got to look at him. I mean, he looks in tremendous shape and condition. And we've been talking in there just now, and I know he's mentally he's on it. So he's got to be. Just got to go out and make a statement, do the business, and then we can move forward.
Let's talk about Joseph Parker. Now, as you boarded that plane for Vegas, you thought you were going to fight Joseph Parker when you came back. That's no longer happening. You've put out statements. You've said, September 24th, I'm fighting. Are you going to be in the other corner? What do you expect to happen here?
Well, let's see what happens. It's important to have a goal. Like when you go out, especially to Vegas, a training camp, to know who you're fighting. So I had in my mind that I'm fighting Joseph Parker, and all the techniques and stuff were geared around that, and it's a bit unfortunate that it's happened like this, that he's signed with a rival promoter. I mean, not promoter, TV station. Made it more complicated because the fight was there, it was signed and agreed, and so I mean it could still happen, but it's a great fight, and hopefully
he's the number one. You go and look at the rates. He's the mandatory challenger. We're not in the Joe Parker business. For us, he's an opponent. He's not the main event. He's the main event. Who cares? If he don't want the fight, we move on. There's other guys there to fight, and that's what happened. He's sitting there in life. His life don't depend on Joseph Parker. Do me a favour.
I understand that Frank's pulled up a couple of text messages with Parker, and this will be the last thing on Parker. I understand you and him have been doing a bit of texting or DMing. What's been going on?
Yeah, it's been quite funny actually. Like putting the old duck quotes and stuff, and he even stitched himself up with that Farmer song. It's all good fun, but it's an interesting fight. I think everyone wants to see it, so it's just a shame that he's made things more complicated for himself. When I'm giving him the shot, basically, I'm number one.
That's right. You can be too smart, and then you can be three smart.
Joe, you are a nightmare to fight. For any heavyweight in the world, you're a nightmare, right? Is there any temptation? This might sound like a stupid question. Frank might slap me, all right? Probably won't. But
hopefully he does.
Is there any temptation to just maybe look a bit bad on Saturday?
No, I prefer.
He's going to go out there and do the business. Look bad.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I mean.
Look, the reason I ask is, right, so Usyk didn't look his best against Derek Chisora. Got himself the Anthony Joshua fight. Fighters have done this in the past.
He didn't do that. He fought as he fought. He'd come up from Division Usyk, but then it's a different thing altogether. He's fighting for a world title. Of course, it's a totally different experience for him. Done what he had to do, and he showed what he had. I mean, Joe. Listen, everyone knows Joe's got massive. He's not some secret weapon. He's hidden from sight. I mean, he's done everything as an amateur. Got robbed in the Olympic finals. Should have got the gold medal, and he's undefeated. But by the way, he's only had 13 pro fights. People forget that. All the guys we're talking about have had like 25, 30 fights as pros. He's had 13 fights, and he's the mandatory, as I keep banging on about. So he's done brilliantly, and. All he's got to do on Saturday is go out there and just do a job, and that's what he'll do.
There's no secret plans on looking bad then, Joe? You're gonna look good Saturday night?
Yeah, I'm going to put on a good display, and it's going to be a tough fight. while it lasts. I mean, let's see how it goes, and you know, I'm not going to aim to look bad, but it's an exciting fight. It's gonna both big heavyweights throwing big heavy punches. Yeah, so it's going to be exciting while it lasts, and but it could go the distance because Hammer's a tough guy and he's hung in there with some of the best. So
he just went the distance with Frank Sanchez, the undefeated Cuban. He's ranked number 3 in the world. He went the distance with him. You know, and he's what is he? He's a good, tough old pro. He's a tough guy who's fought a good quality level. You know, for his 13th fight, it's a really good fight for him. You know, considering it's supposed to have been Parker. So we are where we are. So we just got to get on with it, and he's got to look good on Saturday. And he'll look good. I know he'll look good.
Joe, you're WBC number 2, you're WBO number 1. I've heard you talking about dragging Tyson Fury out of retirement. Who do you want? Who do you want out there? You must think about it. Look, we're looking over there. There's Wembley Stadium over there. I'm sure you against either of those guys would fill it up. Who do you want?
Yeah, I'm excited for them kind of fights. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Fury, if he wants it. The winner of Joshua Usyk. I'm here. So yeah, there's plenty of good fights at the top, but obviously I'm going to get through Hammer first, and then we'll go back to the drawing boards with Frank and BT and get some other fights involved.
You've launched a bit of a verbal assault on the heavyweight division in recent weeks. I've seen you put out some statements. You've targeted obviously Parker. You've gone after Dillian Whyte, saying, "Oh, he loves being a mandatory. Come and be come and get the mandatory spot off me." You've gone after Joshua, saying he's got no hunger anymore. You said about Fury how you'd have eaten that uppercut for breakfast. Are you enjoying this outside of the ring sort of stuff? Are you developing?
Yeah, I mean, these are all fights that I'm ready for. I'm at that level now. I've got myself up to that level, so I want to fight these guys. So if they want it, I'm here, and I'll give it to them.
I think you've made that very, very clear. Frank, give us your final kind of thoughts heading into Saturday night, an important fight for Joe Joyce. Must win.
It's a must-win fight for him. You know, actually the pressure's on him because it is a must-win fight, and his position's at stake. And we've got some really good fights on the undercard as well. It's a cracking one there. I'm looking forward to the Cunningham and Tete fight. It'll be something special.
Well, that's who we're going to bring in. Joe, thank you for joining us. I'll see you very shortly at the press conference. I think we're going to grab a quick chat with Jason Cunningham first. Yeah, cheers, Joe. Here he is. Look at that. Jason, there you go. That's what we've done. That's what we've done here. That's how we do things at Queensbury. Before we start the presser, looking sharp, mate. What are we going with there?
Just got to make the effort, haven't you? I've come down to Wembley. I've heard Ed Shearer's on today as well. Thought I'd make the effort.
Why not? Why not? Look, I've been told we've got about 1 minute. It's all lining up there for the presser, but what can we expect a bit of fireworks from you and Zolani? Because he said all sorts, mate.
Has it? Well, I only seen that little brief clip over there, and it goes straight over my head, as you're aware. But I've been told he's a bit fired up for this one. Usually he's quite kind and a bit of a gentleman, but he's got it in for me, it sounds. But Terry did, so did Zolani. So let's see what they've got to say.
All these fellas have got it in for you. Look, we will see you up there if you join the press conference. And listen, we're going to pass over to the host with the most. You might recognise him. We'll see you in a second.
Fantastic left hook from Joe there.
He's going to jump all over him now.
Joe Joyce, he's the biggest, toughest man I've ever sparred, ever met. Strong, tough, fit, tough lad.
And Jason Cunningham defends his European Super Bantamweight title. Oh, that's the reason why. Goodness me, first punch of the fight.
Zolani, I'm going to fill you in. I'm going for world title, and that's that.
Callum, the One Johnson.
He knows he's in the last chance saloon here, and the light heavyweight division's just waiting to explode.
Oh, goodness me. Well, there's a terrific shot in the opening round.
Well, welcome back to Wembley, ladies and gentlemen. It was only a couple of months ago we were all here, over there, Wembley Stadium. Tyson Fury defended his WBC Lineal Ring Magazine World Heavyweight Championship in front of 94,000 people. Well, we're back this weekend at the OVO Arena, and there was a man who was watching that night, another unbeaten Brit, 6'7", 18.5 stone. WBC number 2, WBO number 1. He watched on that night and he thought, yeah, that'll be me one day. His name is Joe Joyce and he takes on Christian Hammer this Saturday night live on BT Sport. We've got Joe Joyce here. We have, of course, Christian Hammer here, who's bigger in person, by the way. And, of course, we have Zolani Tete and Mark Chamberlain, Zolani Tete and Jason Cunningham, who are in a cracking super bantamweight clash on the undercard. Mark Chamberlain and Mark Vidal as well, Battle of the Marks. And of course, the man making it all happen, Hall of Fame boxing promoter, Frank Warren. Frank, thank you again for a great show. Tee this one up for us. What can we expect Saturday night?
Well, it's first of all, again, good afternoon, everybody. What am I looking for? I'm looking for Joe Joyce, who is the mandatory challenger for the WBO. I'm looking for him to make a statement. He's in with a real tough guy in Christian Hammer. He was it 14 years now he's been fighting, and you look at the fights that he's been with him, he's always been a bit of a handful, and even in his last fight he fought the world WBO number 3, Frank Sanchez, and that went the distance. So he's a tough guy. He's got a good chin. And Joe, everybody forgets, as much as he's got a wealth of amateur experience, he's only had 13 heavyweight fights. That's all he's had. These guys have had, most heavyweights at that level have had 25, 30 fights. That's all he's had, is 13 fights, and he's in a tremendous position. It's unfortunate he broke his wrist, but he's back. And the reason he's fighting Christian is because Joe Parker pulled out, because at the time we agreed to fight, was that his trainer's wife was having a baby, and I hope that all goes well for Andy Lee and his wife. Pulled out, and that's how this fight came about. So we are where we are. It's a tough fight for Joe. Joe's got it all to do. I hate these type of fights, to be quite honest. Tyson Fury fought Wallach in
Otto Wallin, yeah.
Yeah, Wallin, yeah, in Vegas. Everybody thought that was just going to be just a formality. He got a dreadful cut and was lucky to get to the end of the fight without not being stopped because of the cut. So anything happens with these big guys. They're big fellas, and Joe's got it all to lose with Christian Hammer. There's that one spot, that number 1 spot. He gets himself back in the picture big time if he wins. So he's got to go out there, and for me, personally, he's got to go out and make a statement. And I'm quite sure I believe that he can do that. I believe he's a tremendous fighter. He's the fighter that everybody avoids, despite the fact he's only had 13 fights. Nobody wants to fight him.
Before we get into the perils of Christian Hammer, as Joe Joyce boarded the plane to go to Las Vegas for his camp, he thought he was going to be fighting Joe Parker. That hasn't materialised. Can you give us a kind of your understanding, a brief sort of synopsis as to where we are with that fight and why it isn't happening?
You're flogging a dead horse. We'll talk about Saturday. Joe Parker's not happening. End of story. He walked away and signed with Sky TV. It's dead. He's the number 1, not Joe. Who gives a monkeys? He's an opponent for us. He comes from New Zealand. With the greatest respect for people who come from overseas. He's the British guy. That's all we're interested in. If he wants to fight, it was there for him to have, and still is. But it ain't going anywhere. It ain't going on any other channel. End of story. Let them get on with it. Obviously, they signed Joe Parker to replace Anthony Joshua on Sky. That's their choice. We are where we are, and all we need to focus on is one thing: Saturday night. Saturday night, at this moment in time, is the most important fight Joe Joyce could possibly have. He can't afford anything to go wrong. This is his career. He's number 1 spot. He's been patient, coming off the injury, and at the moment, in August on the 20th, all this situation is going to turn into quite an interesting scenario. You're going to have the winner of the fight between AJ and Usyk have to make their mandatory defences, or if Tyson wants to continue, a unification. Whatever happens, he's well and truly in the mix. And that's why he can't afford to mess up on Saturday. So forget Joe Parker, forget everybody. He needs just to have one thing in his mind. This bloke sitting here, the Hammer. And he's got to do a job on him. And that's what he'll do.
Well, we'll speak to the Hammer very shortly. Let's start down the card. Frank, we'll come back to you as well. We've got a battle of the Marks for the IBF European Lightweight Championship. Mark Vidal, who I hope speaks English. Doesn't speak English. But we have a translator, so he's going to be fine. Don't worry about that. Mark Vidal, tell us your feelings heading into this fight with our man, Mark Chamberlain.
Mark, ¿cómo te sientes para luchar contra Mark Chamberlain?
Bien, muy bien. La verdad que tiene una buena preparación y para mí es una buena pelea. Una pelea que cojo con muchas ganas.
I feel really well. Training's gone really well. This is a combat that I'm really ready for and I feel good for.
By the way, everyone, that's just Lou, who works in the Queensbury office. I didn't even know he could do that.
I thought the
Where's that come from?
Behind.
French as well, apparently. Goodness me. Well, Frank, that's over to you on that one. I think a little bonus this month for Lou. Let's get back to Mark Vidal. Question number 2 for Mr. Mark Vidal. What do you know about our friend Mark Chamberlain over here? Unbeaten boxer, dangerous puncher. What's your understanding of this man?
Que te conozco a Mark Chamberlain. Es un combatante muy peligroso. Tienes muchos experiencia como un luchador joven. ¿Qué te conozco de ello?
Bueno, es un luchador que es bueno, tiene talento, pero nunca se ha enfrentado a nadie como yo. Entonces, esta pelea le va a orientar realmente en qué punto puede estar.
He's a very good fighter. He's at a very high level, but he's never faced anything like me, so he's going to be in very deep waters.
And most of your career, Mark, I believe, like the title fights were at featherweight. You took on Kiko Martinez at featherweight. Do you feel as though you can do well at lightweight?
Es tu primera. Normalmente no es esta. Normalmente contra Kiko Martinez fue un diferente nivel de pesado. Ahora, ¿qué piensas tú de combate contra Mark Chamberlain a lightweight?
No entendí muy bien la pregunta. Representa que dice que el subir de categoría de peso.
Sí, eso. Ahora lightweight contra Mark Chamberlain. ¿Hace una diferencia para usted?
No, la verdad que soy un boxeador que suelo trabajar bien en este peso. Estaba en el pluma, he trabajado en el superpluma, ahora estoy en el ligero. Me siento bien y me siento fuerte en este peso.
No, I'm a fighter that's really good at this level. I've fought at other levels at Superfly. For me, it really doesn't matter what level this is. I feel good at this one.
Great, thank you very much. Lou, you can have a bit of a break now. Well done. Well done. Tremendous work. Let's talk to Mark Chamberlain. Unbeaten. 10 wins, no defeats, 7 knockouts. First title fight. Saturday night. OVO Arena, right behind you there. How you feeling?
Yeah, I feel good. Ready to go. Training's gone very well. First of all, I'd like to say a big thank you to Frank and the office for making this fight happen and believing in me, and also to my team. And yeah, ready to go Saturday night.
You know he's never been stopped, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go out there looking to get the stoppage, but they all seem to say this and that, and then on the night they can't seem to back it up, so we'll see.
He's a talent, isn't he, Frank, Mark Chamberlain?
He certainly is. I mean, he's one of our little gems at Queensbury. He's done everything that's been asked of him, and he's got to step up. This is a good fight for him. It's a tough fight for him, but if we didn't feel he could do it, we'd put him in the fight. But yeah, make no mistake, this is a quality match. But I believe he can come through this and make a statement again.
Well, we've seen just over the weekend, Dylan Chima extended the distance by Stu Greener, and I watched that, and I thought, you banged him out in a round. Were you watching that and thinking, yeah, well, now I sort of understand my level a bit more?
Yeah, definitely. There's a couple of fights on that card, actually, I have my eyes on. But yeah, no, I think he had the nickname of Little Canelo, and I've never seen him back it up, but on Saturday night I did see a different side to him. So,
well, what do we expect on Saturday night from yourself? The Battle of the Marks, your first title fight. How do you think it's going to play out, you and Mark Vidal?
Expect a career best performance, and we'll see how he gets on in the later rounds.
Brilliant. Thanks, Mark. Anything else you want to say on this one, Frank?
It's going to be a good fight. It will be a good fight. It's a good fighting card. It's going to be a good fight.
Well, let's talk about the Commonwealth, the IBF and vacant WBO International Super Bantamweight Championship fight Saturday night. Jason Cunningham, a man experienced a bit of an Indian summer in his career, suddenly very, very resurgent. He's picked up some wins, some upset wins, and he takes on former two-time world champion Zolani Tete. Zolani, I'm going to come to you first. Welcome back. Good to have you. We spoke last week, and you were very, very serious about this fight and very serious about what you're going to do to Jason Cunningham. Tell us more.
Thank you very much for having me on the show. Also want to thank my promoter, Mr. Frank Warren, for giving me another opportunity. You know, this is a road for me to become a world champion for the third time. So I've taken this fight very seriously. I never underestimate any of my opponents, so I'll never underestimate Jason as well. I believe it's going to be a great fight come Saturday night.
On our interview on the Unibet Lowdown last week, you said that you're going to be chopping him down and his family will be bringing him back to becoming a human being afterwards. You've started this one quite softly. I was hoping more for that kind of tone, but you really believe you're going to do a number on Jason Cunningham on Saturday night?
That's exactly what we are planning to do. You know, whenever we prepare, we go for what we've prepared for on the fight night. So I'm definitely going to chop Jason down, and I believe the paramedics will be there, the family will be there, and I believe Jason will once again be able to fight again after this fight.
Jason, at any point, feel free to interject, and I welcome the interjection.
Everyone seems to have it in for me, don't they? They wanted to eat me. Zolani wants to cut me down, chop me down, whatever else, but end of the day, it's all talk, and what happens there on Saturday night is what counts. I'm ready for you, Zolani. I hope you've had a good camp yourself. May the best man win, which I believe is going to be me, and let's get it done.
We will see Saturday night, my brother.
That's it.
Zolani, do you think that this man, Jason Cunningham, is on your level? You've been at the highest level. You've been a two-weight world champion. Is this man anywhere near your level? What do you think?
You know, I'm not going to take anything away from him. He has worked his way up. I believe I've fought the best fighters in the world. And I believe Jason is on his way up to the level. He will taste it on Saturday.
So what's this version of Zolani Tete like? The last time we saw you on these shores, you boxed John Real Casimiro. You came up short that night. That was back in 2019. We're almost 3 years down the line. What's this Zolani Tete like?
You know, Zolani is more sharp, more stronger than he's been before. I can't wait for the night where I'll be showing that when I'm fighting against Jason Cunningham.
Do you think you can knock him out?
Possible.
Well, we've seen you do it in record time before. I believe it was 11 seconds in a world title fight. We've seen you knock out Paul Butler as well. Have you still got the power at super bantamweight to do the same thing?
I've got more than I've ever had.
Well, there you go. A chilling warning. Jason, let's bring you in. He's got more power than he's ever had before. Big fight for you Saturday.
Very big fight. The next level, isn't it? This is, world level now. Anything before a world title is this fight with Zolani Tete. Phenomenal fighter. I respect what he's done in the past. It's an intriguing fight because, like you said, everyone's questioning how, what Zolani Tete is going to turn up. Only I'll find out on Saturday night. And I'm excited myself, and I'm ready, I am prepared. I'm ready to put everything on the line, and I'm looking forward to making it fight at night. But like I say, I believe it's my time. I'm on the roll of my life, the run of my life, and like I say, he does not want to have underestimated me. I'm ready for Zolani Tete.
Do you think he is underestimating you?
I wouldn't have thought so. He knows, if he loses on Saturday night, where does he go from here? So everything's on the line for both of us.
Frank, this event is called High Stakes, and this particular fight, I think, really is high stakes, isn't it?
It is, but there's a great prize at the end. I think the winner of this will get a world title. And you've got to take I really do take my hat off to Jason. I mean, he's, for our business, he's one of the guys who's done it the hard way. He's always been the away fighter. And I look at him, I think this moment is a little bit like a Steve Robinson moment in boxing. When Steve Robinson came in and took that fight and everybody looked at him as, it wasn't, he didn't have it. But Jason seems to have improved so much. Every fight he's improved. He's done everything that's been asked of him. European, Commonwealth, British. He's won all those titles, and he's in with a guy, former two-time world champion, Zolani. Who's, we've all seen him. The British public know what he is. He's a tremendous fighter. But this fight's got something about it. You've got. And I know Zolani, there's no way he's going to be underestimating Jason and vice versa. But the styles will make this into a really cracking little fight. It's going to be a cracking fight, and the winner will get a shot at the world title.
Well, the world title, I mean, Jason, you won the IBF European recently. I understand they actually sent you the full world title, so you're already halfway there, right?
Getting that way. And like I say, thank you to Frank and Queensbury for the opportunity as well. This is the next level. I'm excited for it. And, I'm going to learn a lot about myself on Saturday night as well. Getting there with Zolani, it's good. I'm excited. This is what it's all about. I mean, to be the best, you've got to beat the best.
What do you think when you hear him say things about paramedics and things about your family?
You don't want to go there with that. No one wants that.
They call me Iceman, so it's straight over my head anyway.
Both guys to come out as safely and go back to their families as they can. That's all that matters. It's a sport. That's it.
Do you think you can stop Zolani Tete?
I never look at that. Just so long as I get the W on Saturday night, that's all that matters. I'm moving on to the next level.
Right, Zolani, this is your last chance to give a message to Jason Cunningham ahead of Saturday night. He's right there. I'm going to sit back. Tell him what you want to tell him.
Just get ready for Saturday night, my brother.
Likewise.
If he's not ready now, he's never going to be. You've both got to be ready on Saturday. This is going to be something a little bit special. I'm really looking forward to it.
Thank you, Frank.
Fans, it's a great fight to watch.
Well, there you go. Two very ready fighters. Titles galore on the line. Super bantamweight division Saturday night live on BT Sport. Jason Cunningham and Zolani Tete. Let's talk to our main event participants. We have Mr. Christian Hammer here. Christian, this, I believe, is the fourth time for you boxing in the UK. How are you feeling heading into this fight? Fight number 4. We've seen you over here against Tyson Fury, Hughie Fury. You stopped David as well. Tell us your thoughts.
Cum te simți în legătură că aceasta e a patra ta bătălie în UK?
În primul rând, bună ziua. Da, mă simt foarte bine. Țin să mulțumesc organizatorilor. Da, nu e prima oară aici. Am întâlnit băieți destul de puternici.
Hello everyone. Thank you for being here. Yes, that's right. It's not my first time here. Ce ai spus după nu e prima dată?
Am întâlnit băieți puternici.
I met good guys, strong guys.
Și mă bucur că pot boxa cu Joyce. Am primit șansa asta.
And I'm really happy that I got the chance to have a fight with Joyce.
Și așteptăm meciul.
And I'm looking forward for the game.
Okay, that wasn't Lou, by the way. That is an actual translator this time. Thank you, and we'll be coming back to you again. Christian, I understand and I can see as well, you're in good shape for this fight. How well prepared do you feel you are ahead of this big challenge in front of you, which is Joe Joyce on Saturday?
A spus că ești într-o formă foarte bună și cât ești de pregătit pentru acest meci?
Da, mă simt foarte bine, am o formă foarte bună.
Yes, that's true. I'm feeling very well. I have a good shape.
E o șansă foarte bună pentru mine și trebuie să dau totul.
It's a big chance for me and I'm gonna give everything.
Și nu am venit aici să batem drumul degeaba.
And I haven't came here only for travel.
Ultimul meci cu Sanchez l-am luat în 3 zile. În 3 zile am primit contractul.
Last game with Sanchez, I received the contract in less than 3 days.
Eram acolo în vacanță și adversarul a avut corona și m-au întrebat dacă pot boxa și am boxat.
I've been there in holiday and the adversary was having the virus, the corona, and they asked me to fight and I took the chance.
Pentru meciul ăsta cu Joyce m-am pregătit foarte bine. Vrem să arătăm publicului un meci pe cinste.
For this game, I prepared really well and I want to show to everyone
Un meci bun.
a good game.
Actually, he said it's going to be a war.
It's the actual translation. Tell me, Christian, there's been a lot of talk, not just today, but in general, about Joe Parker fighting guys like Tyson Fury, Usyk, Anthony Joshua, Dillian Whyte, maybe Daniel Dubois at some point, Joe Parker. Do you feel as though perhaps you are being overlooked and underestimated heading into Saturday?
S-au auzit multe despre Joyce și toți ceilalți enumerați. Te simți puțin sub măsură, nepregătit, nepotrivit, intimidat?
Asta o să vedem sâmbătă. Totdeauna întâi trebuie să treacă de mine și după aia să vadă ce pe viitor.
It remains to be seen on Saturday. Firstly, it have to happen, and after we're gonna do the talking.
Trebuie să treacă de mine. Să nu creadă că sunt un hop ușor.
It have to pass after me, to not believe that I'm something easy.
Okay, all right. Well, let's go over to the WBO number 1, the WBC number 2. He's unbeaten in 13. He's an Olympic silver medalist. He hits very hard. You can't hurt him. His name is Joe Joyce. Joe, look, this is your first press conference since that intense training camp with Susie Dent. We've all seen the advert by now.
No pressure.
No pressure. I mean, he's over here, mate. Oh, what are you going to call him?
A dunderhead, a lumber war, a mock spout. You get this fist in your face.
As is?
Great. Look, I wasn't expecting such a great start. Well done.
Countdown's on there, you know that.
The countdown's on. Joe, look, it's been a while, right? It was last July. It's that same place over there where you stopped Carlos Takam. You've been injured. How are you? How are you feeling?
Yeah, very, very good. I've had a great training camp in Las Vegas again, working with Salas over there. So yeah, just rehab the injury and things have been progressing. I've been adding more tools to the arsenal, and I'm in a good place, good fitness, mentally, physically. So yeah, I think Hammer's going to be a good test and a good fight. He's strong, he's tough, he's durable. He's been in there with some really good names, so it's going to be an exciting fight, and I really look forward to getting to work and maybe working on a few things in preparation for the fights to come.
Well, he's a durable guy, right? We've just seen him take Frank Sanchez, the WBO number 3, the distance. He's taken many a good fighter the distance. Luis Ortiz in recent years as well. Do you feel as though you need to make a bit of a statement, and it's more than just winning, it's how you win on Saturday night? What do you think?
Well, I'm not going to put any pressure on myself predicting any rounds or anything, but I think, you know, it could go the distance or I could take him out of there. And he's a strong guy, tough guy. I've seen him, you know, like throw some big shots. So it's, you know, it's a risky fight because, you know, I've got something that they all want, and he's you know, he's going to try and take it. He's had a bit of a training. He's had a good training camp as well. So I've heard from the translation. So I look forward to it.
What's it been like adjusting? Because as we mentioned earlier, obviously you thought you were going to fight someone else. You're now fighting Christian Hammer, and you must have got that message sort of midway through camp. What was that like, and what was that adjustment like?
Well, in my experience, like some things don't always happen as they're planned. So I I mean, when I'm in training camp, I get myself in the best possible place, like improving on my technique and biomechanics and stuff. So, and like last minute, I kind of look at the opponent, and obviously I was preparing for Parker, but it's, you know, I've just made the adjustments, and I've got that experience to then like deliver me through to victory Saturday night. I would imagine.
We know what you're all about in the ring. We've seen it many a time. What we haven't seen so much until recently is these verbal assaults, these social media posts, these spats with Anthony Joshua, with Joseph Parker. You're really going at it with everyone. Is this the 2022 version of Joe Joyce? Anyone can get it?
Yeah, anyone can get it. Like,
if you want it, you got it.
Yeah, mate, I'm up at that level now, so I'm giving my opinion and telling people exactly what I think of them, and hopefully we can settle it in the ring if they want to.
How good is Joe Joyce, Frank? Over to you.
Well, he's done everything that's been asked of him, but people forget he's only had 13 fights. As I mentioned earlier, that's all he's had. All these guys have had. He's had 36 fights, Christian. It's for a heavyweight. And I know we talk about his age and that, but the fact of the matter is, that's nothing for a boxer. 13 fights, and I can't think of too many guys who've had 13 fights who've got themselves into a #1 position to be a mandatory challenger. I really, scratched my head about that. Maybe like Leon Spinks when he won an Olympic and then fought Ali, but I can't think of too many others. So, he's done extremely well for himself. He's got a tremendous amateur pedigree. I'm hoping they're going to put right the wrong that they did in the Olympic Games. He should have got that gold, and they're apparently working on that now. But the fact is, 13 fights, he's done brilliantly, and now everything's on the line on Saturday. This is no walk in the park for him. He knows it better than I do. This is a tough fight, but if you're #1, this is what you've got to do. You've got to take these fights on, and you've got to come through them in style.
Well, Joe, it feels like you've been knocking on the door kind of quietly for a world title, but that knock is getting louder and louder and louder, and you're in that WBO...
Until the door bursts open and...
Kick it in.
Yeah.
Are you going to kick it in? Is that what's going to happen?
Kick the door in, headbutt through the door.
Well, look, this is your stage, Joe. I know you want your Tyson Furies. I know you want Joshua. I know you want Usyk. What's your message to the heavyweight division here today?
I'm here and be ready for a beatdown.
Just to anyone. Anyone can get it.
Anyone in general.
Can get it. Anyone can get it. No one here is exempt. Brilliant. Okay, well, look, Joe, lovely speaking to you. Well done with the trash. I don't know if you want to go again at Christian Hammer.
Huh?
Tell him something.
You're here. I'm here. We can fight on. Yeah, we can fight on Saturday night. I'm ready. You're ready. Yes. It's going to be lots of action. Heavy punches.
Zic o să fie un război.
He said it's war.
Yeah. And it's not a game, it's a fight.
Nu am venit aici să pierd drumul.
I haven't came here to lose my time and for nothing.
Lovely, thank you.
Fantastic. All right, well, thank you, everyone. And Frank, sign us out Saturday night, BT Sport. Why should everyone tune in?
Because you've got two big guys throwing bombs. That's what you got. You're going to have a real good heavyweight fight, a lot on the line for the winner. So it's going to be. I know it's going to be a really good fight. These two guys, their styles will make it a good fight. And the undercard, I mean, these fellas here, these four fellas, you're going to get something a bit special from them. It's good fighting card. Don't miss it. BT Sport. Be there. Watch it. The #1 boxing channel. BT Sport. Watch it.
Well, there you go. See you Saturday night at 7 o'clock. We're going to do some face-offs down the front here, and everyone will get their chance to speak to the guys. We'll see you shortly.
chairs.
Joe Joyce, he's the biggest, toughest man I've ever sparred, ever met. Strong, tough, fit, tough lad.
And Jason Cunningham defends his European Super Bantamweight title. Oh, and that's the reason why. Goodness me, first punch of the fight.
Zolani, I'm going to fill you in. I'm going for world title, and that's that.
The One Johnson.
He knows he's in the last chance saloon here, and the light heavyweight division's just waiting to explode.
Oh, goodness me. Well, there's a terrific shot in the opening round.
Perfect, thank you. So then, yeah. Cunningham, Tete, please. Zolani. Go on, Alex. You're good, Steve. Thank you. What's down here, Joe? I can feel it. Big jumping arms coming. Thank you very much, guys. Top stuff. See you do your one-on-one, either up here or outside.
The Juggernaut, Joyce.
Oh, fantastic left hook from Joe there.
He's going to jump all over him now.
Joe Joyce, he's the biggest, toughest man I've ever sparred, ever met. Strong, tough, fit, tough lad.
And Jason Cunningham defends his European Super Bantamweight title. Oh, and that's the reason why. Goodness me, first punch of the fight.
Zolani, I'm going to fill you in. I'm going for world title, and that's that.
The One Johnson.
He knows he's in the last chance saloon here, and the light heavyweight division's just waiting to explode.
Oh, goodness me. Well, there's a terrific shot in the opening round.